Hi friends, as I sit here and shoot this video, it is the first day of school, it's Tuesday, and bear with me, I thought I had a fun idea with this one. I thought about, what if my channel had a school supply list? And what if like we were a class and there were some required products that you should probably have to go along with a lot of the things we do. So yesterday as I was finishing up another video, I was just sitting there and I quickly busted out a list of everything that I think you should have to start our school year, and we're keeping it all on a drugstore budget. And you know, how did I make this list? I thought what things are most relevant, like what things, you know, get used a lot, what things have universal benefit, I feel like for anyone, any skin type, and what things are sort of classic staples, yet kind of versatile as well. I think you'll see what I mean by that as we go. And you know, we may ask for additions throughout the year. We may go into different units that require some more specialized things, but this would be like our starting point. And this all kind of does sound just for fun, but honestly, if you watch a lot of my videos and you do want to kind of have a lot of the things that get used with frequency, this might be a good starter kit idea here. So first, thinking about tools, just to really simplify it, I thought e.l.f. for the face brushes and Profusion for the eye brushes. So when we're talking e.l.f., of course, we're going to go for that duo complexion brush, which can be, you know, your foundation, your concealer. As we get into our unit on creams, we will use this for like blending out contour and cream blush. It can do so many different things, so I think that's a really important brush to have. The e.l.f. blush brush is really good. And then also another one that I have on hand that I don't feature a lot, but just for general powder use all over the face, the e.l.f. highlighting brush. Look how full that is. It's actually pretty much just as full as the blush brush, but instead of being pinched in at the top of the ferrule, it's round, so it's a little more fluffy. And this can be really good for just any placement of powder you want to do on the face. This could be bronzer, this could be a little setting powder. So I think those brushes could give you a good place to begin, and they're all pretty affordable. And then moving into eye brushes, like I said, Profusion is a really good brand. You can find these in your Walmart store. You could find them on Profusion's website, but we love the one that's actually labeled the ES2. I call this the crease brush. This starts many of our eye looks. The ES3 is a great little blender. I think that's really important too, because we a lot of times use that bare just to blend out the edges of our look. And then the ES6 is the small pointed brush. This can be outer corner. This can be smudgy liner. I use these brushes like every single day. And for a flat brush, you know, we could go to Morphe, we could pull in other brands. I love that Morphe flat brush that I often use, so I'll link to that below. But also just sponge tips would be fine for any time we're doing a flat brush application, because that can really lay down product in the very same way, and sponge tips are very readily available and very affordable. We will put the hot pink triangle powder puffs on the list. You can get these in any color of your choice. You can get like a 6-pack on Amazon, and someone recently asked, are they washable and reusable? And they absolutely are. So if you get a 6-pack, you know, you may be able to just even stick with one for a long, long time. And then we want to have a sponge option too for application. So we'll go with the e.l.f. Total Face Sponge there. That's probably my all-around favorite drugstore face sponge. And this one is not fully saturated, but it grows in size when you get it under the sink, get it wet. This sponge most closely mimics the actual feel and texture of a real beauty blender. So I love that. Then for lash curlers, I mean, we need to be in touch with Shiseido about maybe getting a grant for our school for Shiseido eyelash curlers. That's truly my favorite, and I would welcome suggestions from the VTO, that's the Viewer Teacher Organization, for any recommendations for a lower cost eyelash curler that we could recommend to everyone, because I feel like, you know, I kind of, for a while I liked e.l.f., but then they slipped a little bit, and I don't know, Shiseido is just really a good fit for my eyes, and like I said, maybe we can get a grant going or something. But that wraps up your toolkit. Those are the tools that I think are must-haves, and if you don't already have some tweezers on hand, definitely look to e.l.f. You can get those for like $2 or $3, and I really think they're the best. For our makeup supply kit, I think we should go with primers and foundations that suit individual skin types best. So different options here. If you like something glowy, if you like to give the overall look of your skin as a whole, not just in the highlighted parts, but as a whole, just a little more luminous look, you might want the Maybelline Perfector 4-in-1. They put this out in a variety of skin tones, and for reference, I am light in that, and I am wearing that all over as my primer today. If staying power is a big concern for you, and you also want some added hydration, I would say go for the Hard Candy Candy Sheer Envy Hydrating Primer. And if you want mattification, if you want to disguise the look of pores a bit more, I've really been loving this Revlon Color Stay Grip these days. So there's a few different primer options, and for base options, today I'm wearing a real classic that I feel like does work very well across the board for a lot of people, and it's the Wet n Wild Photo Focus, which I wear in soft beige. So yeah, today is the combo of a little bit more glowy primer and a foundation that I would say has kind of a soft matte look, and I think the overall finish on the skin is really pretty. But this comes in a dewy option as well, which is just a teeny bit less coverage. If you really like to keep it lightweight all over the skin and you would like more of a tinted moisturizer, less of a foundation, I would say go for the Wet n Wild Bare Focus Tinted Hydrator. A little more coverage all over, slightly luminous look, but still great staying power throughout the day. I'd have to throw out one of my faves, which is the L'Oreal True Match Nude Hyaluronic Tinted Serum. By the name, it seems like it would be something super sheer and lightweight, but it actually has coverage that I would say is kind of close to this one, but maybe a little more luminous looking on the skin. And if we have some friends out there who really want the coverage and they want that hardcore staying power, don't be afraid of the CoverGirl Red Cap collection. The Outlast, this is called Extreme Wear Light Airbrush Finish. It's a really good foundation. I also like NYX Can't Stop Won't Stop. If you're looking for something that can give a more full coverage look, extremely reliable staying power, I wear this one in natural beige. For concealers, I do feel I have a recommendation here that I think could suit a lot of people across the board, and it's the e.l.f. Hydrating Camo Concealer. And if you feel like this is too juicy for you, I mean, the reason why I kind of say this would be good for everyone is because you can really control the amount of juice or moisture on the skin when you apply this. So like you can go very minimal with your dots. For me, I do like a dot in here, a small dot here, and a little bit out here as well, and I get really good satisfying under eye coverage. And I can use it elsewhere on the skin too, and it doesn't feel too heavy, but you just, you know, control your application, I would say. But this I wear in light peach, and I also just like how it works. It would look beautiful with every foundation I mentioned there, like it will just mesh in. But if you would tell me like I am so oily, I really struggle with products like that breaking down on my skin, maybe consider the NYX Can't Stop Won't Stop. I also love this concealer. It does not offer the moisture that this one does, but it is beautiful coverage and amazing staying power. And for reference, I wear that in the shade Vanilla. For a powder, there are tons of different options. We could go loose, we could go pressed, we could go with a variety of coverage levels. I'm going to try to stick it right in the middle of the road for something that could be versatile enough. We talked about earlier having things that are classics, but yet they can be versatile in terms of the whole application of makeup. So I'm going to recommend the Fit Me Matte and Poreless to everyone. And this I wear in the shade Porcelain. The reason why I like this is I can use this with this little sponge just to set on my under eye. I can use it as a beautiful finishing powder. I could wear it lightly all over the skin if I decided to do a lighter coverage look, maybe just do concealer, pair it with a powder. You know, you can work with this in so many ways, and it can be travel friendly. It comes with a little sponge right in there and a mirror on the back side. So this is a pretty good all-around powder, and look how beautifully that set my under eye area. So again, today, the complexion is the Maybelline Perfector 4-in-1, the Photo Focus Foundation, the Hydrating Camo Concealer, and set with this. And it is quite a bit less messy compared to our loose powders, but we may pull in some of those as the school year goes on. For bronzer, I'm going to recommend a really affordable option that totally feels high-end. Every time I use this bronzer, I'm like, wow, the texture of that is so good. And it's the Hard Candy Instant Summer bronzer, and I wear this in the shade Tan. I think it gives a beautiful natural finish on top of the skin. I'm wearing it around the hairline, wearing it to contour with today. Comes in a variety of tones, even deeper than this and also lighter than this, but I think you'll be really impressed by this one if you haven't tried it yet. And we might pull in some sticks and some liquids when we get to our unit on like liquids and creams, but for now we're going to start there. And for blush, I thought a really great option for everyone would be a Profusion blush palette, because there's blush 1 and there's also blush 2. So the blush 2 option is all around deeper. Today I use the blush 1 and I use the shade Bashful. And another reason why I chose this is that some of these are very glowy. While we have some that are more matte, some have a lot of shimmer. So Bashful I have on here, and I don't have on any highlighter. that is just the glow from that blush. And I think it's so pretty and so like radiant. But I think having a bit of a blush wardrobe is really fun. Having different tones and textures to play with and to layer is really great. And I love that it comes again in the two totally different shade options. For brows, we're gonna go your choice of a skinny brow pencil. Today I use the Revlon Color Stay Micro, which I've had some really good luck with in that medium brown shade. Skinny pencils are nice because they can give you hair-like strokes. They can give you the precision to get to certain little areas that sometimes a larger pencil just can't quite lay down the product where you want it. Like I have a little scar in one of my brows, and I think a skinny pencil tends to be a very efficient way to fill in actually. So you also have that spoolie on the opposite end to brush through, and then we're all getting Maybelline Brow Fast Sculpt, okay? So this is nice for those days when maybe you don't want to use a pencil to fill in. You can use the shorter side bristles to really lay down product, and then it's like having a whole other product because those longer bristles will just rake it through, help your brow hairs look a little more perky and fluffed up, and the hold is better than anything. And yes, I have tried Maybelline's new product. They have a new brow product called Tattoo Studio Brow Styling Gel, and I feel like this leaves a little bit more of like a residue. It almost lightens up my brows a little bit as it dries down on them, and I'm not nearly as impressed with this as I am with this one. When we're doing our eye look, we have to start with the right kind of base. We are all getting Milani eyeshadow primer, okay? I think one tube of this will get you through most of the school year, and you just need a little bit, kind of like put a tiny dot on your finger, share it between two fingers, and then dab that small bit of product between both eyes. First priority is lid, and then blend it up through the crease, and anything that's left can get up under the brow bone, but it'll give you a great long wearing base, and it'll really intensify your eyeshadows. So that is a step I would not skip at all. And for eyeshadows, I do think a great basic starting point from the drugstore is going to be your Maybelline Nudes of New York palette. This is going to be around the $10 mark and a really well-rounded selection of neutrals. And you know, that's where we're starting. This is like Beauty Broadcast Makeup 101, and then maybe the 102 or the 103 we get into more colorful things. But this is where we begin, and this is really great quality in here. I'm wearing this palette today. I've got on Creator in my crease and a little bit of Explorer sort of blended up above the crease. That's kind of a dusty rose. I've got Globetrotter, this maroon, in my outer corner. I put Dreamer on my inner lid, and I don't have anything on my lower lash line today. But we can go warmer, we can go cooler. There's a great balance of textures in here with the matte and the shimmer, and then of course dark to light. So we're gonna start, everybody here, Nudes of New York. It's been out for several years now, but it is one of the best all-around neutral options in the drugstore, I believe. And if you don't like it, then you can just transfer out of the district. Okay, just kidding. For an eyeliner, I think it's important to have a good solid black liquid liner, and we're going to definitely want to start with a pen form for those who have never maybe used a liquid liner before. So NYX Epic Ink is a really good option. It's very black, it's very long wearing, it has a brush tip, and I was able to very easily get that line across my upper lash line. And if we get into our unit on false lashes, we are ready with that perfect black liner base. For mascara, I thought, what's the most universally pleasing here right now? I thought a couple came to mind. First one, CoverGirl Exhibitionist Stretch and Strengthen. This one is really knocking my socks off these days. It gives me a thick, lengthened out lash look. It's really similar to the effect of IT Cosmetics Superhero. One other that came to mind that I think is a very basic, kind of universally pleasing mascara is the L'Oreal Lash Paradise. I love that one, and it might even hold the curl just a teeny bit better than this stuff. It's a little bit drier than this one. So there's a couple of options there. And then for lips, this was kind of hard because, you know, there are so many different lip products that I love that are available at drugstore prices that are really, really good. But we're going to start in a very basic arena. We're going to start with building your lip liner wardrobe, because this is going to benefit you in a few ways. It's going to give you good staying power. It's going to supply you with some basic tones that can give you different lip looks, and then eventually they can add into other lip looks to adjust your shade a little bit. So we intend for these at this stage of the game to be used all over the lips, and they'll give you really good precision too. So we're going to Revlon Color Stay. We're going to ask you to get 3 shades. One is Nude. I'm wearing Nude today. Okay, that's all over my lips. As you can see, it's not a super duper light shade, but this is, I think, very essential. Then we want something with a little more pink in it. I'm going to go with the shade Mink. I will swatch these out on my hand so you can see. It's all, I would almost call that one like a soft berry. It's not a super light and bubblegummy pink shade. And then finally, we're going to ask you to get Raisin as well. So there's Nude. There's Mink. Mink is not a real loud pinky shade, but it's going to be very everyday and basic. And then we also have Raisin here, kind of a dusty red, okay? And I feel like these shades, between the three of them, they can create their own different cocktails of shades. They can be worn individually and look really good. And as we get into playing with other kinds of lipsticks, they will be the thing that can provide that nice definition, slightly adjust different shades for you to your liking. So I think these are going to be an important thing to first get your hands on. And then we're like, where's the moisture going to come from, Em? We need a basic gloss. We're going to go with the Lifter Gloss in Pearl, which looks good on top of anything. If you kind of lay it on a little thicker, it can really take advantage of the shimmer in here. There's a little bit of frost. As it shears out, you don't see it a lot, but if you apply it more concentrated, you will. And it can make the lips look fuller. It just plain feels good on top of the lips. And by the way, if you need more ease in the application of these, get your favorite lip balm, put that on first, and then do these liners. But I really find that the liners can go over dry lips just fine, and then you top off with this gloss, and any of these shades can look perfectly like shiny and complete on the lips. So that's where we're starting. That's our school supply list, if my channel had a school supply list. And it does kind of seem like just for fun, but honestly, if you got a lot of these products, you would then have a lot of the things that I consider to be some of the best in the drugstore, and just really some of the best starting point type of products. If you're feeling like I need a fresh start with my makeup, or maybe there are just bits and pieces, maybe you have some holes in your collection where you're like, yeah, I need a good drugstore bronzer, I need some good blushes, I needed some of those tool recommendations. Hopefully this was helpful for you, but you can see where my head's been at lately. You know, I've had 2 kids to get ready for school, and you know, follow those school supply lists, get it all divvied up, get it all labeled. You don't need to label these supplies unless you want to. And yeah, those Color Stay lip liners, as I try to get them off, they're not coming off. But thank you all for your time today. Thank you for humoring me with this video idea. I think it was fun, and I will see you guys again very soon. I love you. Bye.